Alright, this is take 4 of the basic if statement. The reason why this is the fourth take is because my video editor decided it wanted to eat the footage that I got for the last take. On top of that, the second take, it just didn't work, and the first take, my recorder decided to freeze. So, take 4. Will it be the last one? Let's find out. So, we're talking about the basic if statement. And all this is going to do is we're going to give it a condition or a compound condition, and if it is true, it is going to execute the block contained within. So, getting started, we're going to ask, is this car a classic? And what defines a classic car is its age. There's no set standard, but it's anywhere from 10 to 25 years old. So, our first one is going to be a compound conditional. So we're going to say model year equals int input in what year was the car made. Leave a space for the input, and we'll say age of car equals, the year is 2023 when this is being recorded, 2023 minus model year. And now we ask if age of car is greater than or equal to 10 and age of car is less than or equal to 25. So if it is 10 years old, it will work. If it is 25, it'll work. If it is anywhere between them, it'll work. If it is outside that, then it is not a classic car. It is either modern or an antique. So we end our conditional with a colon. We drop down, and most editors will auto-indent for you. If they don't, then you need to do the indentation yourself. You can use tab, you can use 4 spaces, you can use 2 spaces. However far you go, just make sure everything is lined up as it should be. And we'll see more of that as we go along. So, if the age of our car is greater than or equal to 10 and less than or equal to 25, we say print. This car is a classic. All right, we'll do a few more of these. Is the grade a pass? So we say grade equals float input. What is the final grade? If grade is greater than or equal to 70.0, then we print you passed. Next example, are you taller than average? What defines average height? I went with a completely arbitrary number of 70 inches. Anything above that is considered tall. Just for the sake of our code. I don't know if that's actually true or not. It's probably not. But, nevertheless, we say height equals int input. What is your height in inches? Then, if height greater than 70, colon, indent, print, you are taller than average. All right. And lastly, actually no, we still have 2 more rather. Do you have a long name? What defines a long name? A completely arbitrary number that I selected for this example. In this case, it is 20 characters. So, wait, nope. Name equals string, well, it's an input. We don't really need the string. Input, what is your full name? And then we say if len name greater than 20, print you have a long name. Now, we can improve this because usually when we count up characters in a name, we aren't counting the spaces in between. So we'll say the length of name.replace will replace spaces with empty strings. This will effectively delete the spaces in the version of name that we are counting. And then if there are more than 20 letters, we say that our name is long. And lastly, what is the exponent? We're going to print the exponent if it is of a particular magnitude. If it is greater than 25, we will print it. Otherwise, we're just not. So, base equals int input, enter a number. If base squared is greater than 25, print. Whoops. I was getting ahead of myself. That's not actually what we want to do. We want base squared to be a variable called result. So let's leave our unfinished code there for a moment, and we'll do result equals base squared. If result is greater than 25, print result. And this is the gist behind basic if statements. Just remember your syntax. You have the word if, the condition or conditions, you have your colon, and on the next line you indent. And in my case, it's out 4 spaces. As long as it is indented at least 1 space and you keep everything on the same level of indentation, it's going to be fine. Python works off of a strict indentation-based system. So you have to make sure your indentation is correct. You have to practice this and make sure you've got it down. So, with that being said, these are our 5 examples. We're going to save our file and we're going to run it. You can see I've been running something different here. And then switch over to our E drive. This is for the later examples that I only realized this one was broken after I had done all of those. So let's do our Python conditionals.py. So, what year was this car made? Let's say 2000. And let's say this car is a classic. What is the final grade? Let's say 72.0. You passed. Now let's have one of them fail and see what happens. What is your height in inches? Now, I am only 5'7", so that's 67 inches. And it just does nothing. It skips over. Now, what is your full name? Now, this is technically more than 20 characters, but if we remove the spaces, it no longer is 20 characters. And then we'll enter a number. We'll say 7, and this will print 49. So that is what your if statements look like in code and in execution. So, on the next lecture, we're going to cover the if-else statement, where we have something for when it evaluates to true, and then something for when that same if evaluates to false. So, stay tuned for that.